Hi everybody, this is Coffee Brown, and this is my channel called Koffee Spills the Tea. Today is Friday. I want to say September. I don't know why. I think I'm trying to push myself into the future. Friday, March 7th of 2025. And I am here today to talk about emergency preparedness. Or maybe survival instincts, or how to survive. Um, it's all of that. It's all about survival and pulling yourself together and preparing. What are we preparing for? We're going to talk about that today. Now, before I get started, I always say, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can get all of the notifications when I update to this channel. As well, if you could, share this with other people. What is this channel about? I just started doing this vlogging at the end of the year because I was just mentally drained, and after spending so much time with being invested in the elections and with things that happened, this is not, I'm trying to not make this a political channel, but I just felt like it was a referendum against black women. We're tired. We do it all. We are holding down so much. So many people depend on us to do so much, and after a while, it just gets to you. And for me, I just felt like I'm alone. I don't have a lot of support when I need to have things done, and so I just started vlogging. Now, at some point, I always say this channel is going to turn into something else, because something's going to happen, something's going to turn itself around, and I will start taking it in that direction. So today, as you can see, I'm a bit dressed up. Yeah, I have a collar, I have like earrings, and I had to like cut my bangs and trim some of my edges and do some things, because I had a job interview. I finally had that job interview that I pushed off for 2 weeks, and I just was so nervous. I have a little bit of a headache, to be frank. I really want to work for this company, and I've had those interviews where I'm like, I really want to work for this company. I feel like the interview went well. You know how they are. They always say the same thing. Oh, you did great. We loved you. Da, da, da. We just have to think about it. We'll let you know. And then you get the little letter like, we loved you, but yeah, you're not quite the right fit. We're going to go with someone else that we felt was a little more qualified, or we feel like you still have some growing to do, or something along those lines. And after a while, it's just like, I'm numb. And so I don't have any idea, and I'm like, I can't fixate on this interview. I did the best I could. I did everything that I could possibly do, answered every question I could possibly do, did all the requirements to the best of my abilities. If I don't get chosen, I'm just going to thank them, but I am also, because I want to keep the door open for them, just ask them if I improve on XYZ, would they bring me back in the future? So I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to say that I did well or didn't do well or whatever. I'm just going to be like, it is what it is, and just move on. So fingers crossed, because it is a remote position and it's a contractor position. A lot of work, but I like what they do, and I really want to do it. I really want to be able to work for this company. On my last video, I just went off, and I said to myself, okay, the next video I do, it's got to be shorter. It is shorter. I was talking about being ready. You need to get ready. And I've just been hearing these little rumblings about people having to be ready. And it's like, what does be ready mean? We're going to kind of go through that now. So I put together a list, and a lot of the stuff is things that I talked about when I was in the last video, which I know quite a few people were just like, this is too long. TLDR, too long, didn't read. And so I'm just like, yep, you know what? I thought about chunking the video up, and I was like, nope, not going to chunk it. I'm just going to leave it as is. Somebody out there wants that video, and they want all those truths. And on top of that, it memorializes the Ish show, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, Sugar Honey Iced Tea. If you can see that acronym, you know what I mean when I say Sugar Honey Iced Tea show. That was last week. And so that took almost an hour just going through that, and then just a reactionary, like, this is what we need to do, because clearly, Ish is going sideways here. So I'm going to just kind of go through that again, and I'm just going to ask that people please pay attention, because things are happening. And I don't know, like, how close do you live to the Northern Virginia area, the DC area? I have often said, like, I heard when that plane hit the Black Hawk helicopter, I didn't know what was going on. I was out walking my dogs, but I heard it. And I thought it was I thought somebody was doing, like, fireworks. And I'm like, this is a weird time to do it. And it was like only one boom. What? I was like, well, I guess they didn't have that many to do. And then found out later on that evening exactly what I had heard. And I was like, that's how close I am to the Capitol. So I hear a lot of things and talk to people. And I talk to people who are in certain places. And just based on what they tell me is based on how I react. And some of these people work in top secret clearance and things like that. They're not telling me by any means what their job is, but they're giving me like clues on what you need to do, because Ish is about to go sideways. Okay, so I'm gonna just do this calmer than I was in the other video, and I'm gonna ask you to please pay attention. Get your papers in order. Get your papers in order. What do I mean by get your papers in order? Passport. What do I mean by passport? You need to start by getting your birth certificate. Because here's what, if there is a plan to do anything in the next election, and I just don't know how things are going to go. I don't know. I have so many feelings about it goes from rage to acceptance to indifference to, it's kind of like the 12 steps of when you're dealing with, like, Alcoholics Anonymous, and the last stage is acceptance. But then you glitch and you go back to the first stage and you start going through those stages again. And I'm going through the stages, and then I glitch and I get back to the first stage, which is anger. Anger, bargaining, like you go through all the phases. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, so I'm just going to tell you, like, I'm glitching. And so, yes, get your birth certificate. There are going to be times when you may be called upon to, or not even times, you need to vote. Everybody's going to need to vote. We have midterm elections coming up, and I'm sure that the reason why Orange Savior is doing things so hard and so fast is because if you break it hard, you break it fast, even when midterms come around, and which is not going to be, like, people are like, oh, 2026 is right around the corner. No, it's not. I feel like time moves as slow as molasses. So don't make that assumption. I'm not going to go out and do any more. I'm not doing any more participation. I'm not doing any more. I'm not doing any more marches. I'm not doing any more, I'm not donating any more money, donating any money. I'm not doing any of that anymore. I did my part, and I just feel like I've been slapped in the face. So why am I going to, like, put my body in the front line for people who didn't? It just doesn't make sense. Those people who did wrong, who voted the wrong way, they need to put their bodies in the front. And they will only do it when things hurt them so personally and so badly they don't have a choice. And they then put yourselves in the front line, because we're done. We're not doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let them figure this mess out. You focus on, while they are doing all that, you get yourself in order. You're going to have to vote. And as I said before, they may say, that your voting record must match your birth certificate. So if you are married for some reason, or not for some reason, if you're married, if your name is, like Olena Smith, but your married name is Olena Jones or Smith Jones, if those don't match, they may deny you your vote. And understand, they are doing so much to disenfranchise us from the votes. From saying you can't give people water, you can't help people, you can't, somebody who's blind can't bring their people into the booth or whatever. That means our vote must have some kind of power if they're working so hard to stop us. So it's going to come down to making sure that you are registered to vote. I check regularly. Now, I don't have a political affiliation anymore as of Wednesday morning, maybe sometime on Wednesday, when 10 Democrats crossed over to the Republican aisle to censure Congressman Al Green because he stood up and said the truth to someone that was standing up there lying. And so I immediately removed my political affiliation, called as many of those 10 people as I could, and screamed at them and told them that I no longer support any party. I'm just going to stay apathetic. But, when the time comes for elections, I'll vote. But I'm going to vote based on what I think is best. And I'm not going to just blindly follow one party anymore. They will not get my money. They will not get my efforts. They will not get my tears. And I don't think that you should either. They are not worth it. Black women, they are not worth our tears. They are not worth our struggles. They are not worth our efforts. Everyone has used us for everything. Like, I was reading about Harriet Tubman and how when they had the Civil War, that Harriet Tubman led 200 men into battle. And I'm like, with all of that she was doing, the Underground Railroad, which she probably had to take a spoon and build herself, and then lead all these people to freedom. And then when the time came for fighting, then they had to go in, or she had to go in and put herself in harm's way. Not our time. Okay, I'm getting back on track because I keep going off track. But anyway, let's get back. Get your first thing you need to do is get your birth certificate. I recommend that you get 2 certified birth certificates. You cannot bring a copy in for anything. You need to have original birth certificates. So get 2 of them. Put one like in a safe someplace that's fireproof, and put one someplace where it's safe, where it's fireproof. Basically, you just don't want to be without your birth certificate. You may need it. You may need to bring it with you to the polls to show who you are and explain. And you may have to bring your marriage certificate. And here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. If you are married, get your birth certificate, get your marriage certificate, get your driver's license, and take it down to the polls. Do we have to go through all that? Yes, because they're going back to Jim Crow era. Because remember, that's what Make America Great means to them. Okay, so we're gonna be better than that. Like, we're gonna use Melania's phrase: "Be best." Okay, so be ready for that. Once you get your birth certificate, you must go get your real ID. The time for you to get the real ID is coming up. I think in May is the last. I mean, they're going to have like extensions and whatever, but why wait? Why wait? I wouldn't even wait till May, because if everybody goes all at once for the rush, then it could affect you, and you just don't need to be without your driver's license. So just do it now. Once you get your real ID, then you can get your passport. Okay. So for that one, when you get your passport, you have to take a picture front and back of your driver's license. If you're a year or less from having your passport expired, just go ahead and send it now. Okay, do it now. If you don't have a passport, you have to give them your, or you have to take I believe you have to take a picture of the front and back of your driver's license. Yes. You have to take a picture of the front and back of your driver's license. You have to fill out the paperwork. And then you also have to give them an original birth certificate. That's why I'm like saying have 2, because if you got to turn that one in, they're going to send it back to you. You may even get your passport just before you get your birth certificate or vice versa. They're not going to come back together. But they need to verify who you are. They need to record it and just get over it because that's what you're going to do. But you need to get it. Because if you need to make a quick exit, you don't want to be waiting. You want to be able to like take your passport and like go over and see, okay, what's the next flight out of here going any place but here, and then get on it. And like use your credit card and pay and get GTFO. Yeah. Okay. So have all of those things always ready, and then when you get it, please secure it in a fireproof safe. Make copies, make color copies of everything you've got, and have the copies that you can put like in your purse or whatever, and then take the originals minus your driver's license because you got to keep that with you. Although I think some states will allow you to have a digital driver's license where you can download the app or something, you upload your driver's license, and then like, but I wouldn't do that. But yeah, but keep everything on you, because you may need it. Okay. And then, as I said, go to the Social Security website, check for your benefits. What's your benefit statement? Like, what do you, like if you retired today or when you retired, at like whatever, 62 or whatever, what is the amount they're going to be able to pay you? 65, what are you going to be able to pay? 67, 67 and a half, 70, etc. They're going to like build it out for you and tell you. And depending on the year, I think up to 1964, you can retire at 65. And I think after like that, then you can retire at 67 and a half. And then I think at a certain point, they've raised it to like, if you're born after a certain year, it's now 70. So you're going to need to check. But check it and download it. Because with them firing like 7,000 Social Security workers, like the wait time to get to your Social Security or even your Medicare, they said is up to like 320 days or 300. Sorry, it's either 230 days or 232 or 234 days. So if you are actually getting ready to retire and you plan on like getting into your benefits like within a year, like if you're going to retire within, I would say, a year, I would check. And you could only call Social Security or get on a website from Social Security during office hours, Monday through Friday, between I think 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I would, if I were you, contact them and find out like and here's where it gets tough because they already started firing people, and getting into that wait line could be hours of wait. But do your best to go in there and find out like, or you could go online. You can go online and get this information. Go online, get your information, find out as much as you can, like when can you retire and like what year, and get as much information as you can. But then go in, you must get your benefits, download them, and correct them if they're incorrect. And again, same thing with Medicare. Make sure that your Medicare is up to date. Don't choose Medicare Advantage if you can't. I heard that it's awful. But do go to there's a guy, I think his name is Ed WHUR. I will find it. And he knows all things Medicare and Social Security as well, because he used to work. He said he ran the third largest office for like Medicare, Medicaid in the United States. And he talks truth to power like every week. Like he's retired now, so he just spends his time on YouTube just helping people figure stuff out. And he does like a live show almost every night. But I think like last night he's really tired. He's like, I won't be back Friday. I will come back Saturday. But you got to check that, because when that many people are fired and they're going in and they're crawling through the systems, by them I mean Muskrat and his man boys are crawling through the system and they're trying to pull stuff out and it's messing up the system, you could easily see how your benefits could accidentally disappear. So don't give them that satisfaction. And then once you do that, as I said before, you want to check, I'd say once a year. I said every 6 months, but once a year should be fine. Go to studentaid.gov as well if you have a student loan, download everything. Trump's saying we're going to get rid of the Department of Education, we're going to take it back to states, and there's a lot of speculation as what happens with student loans. It could fall into the Department of the Treasury. Good luck with that. Department of Commerce, I don't know. But the people in charge of those places are horrifyingly bad and evil. So try to get as much information as you can. If you're like one of my sisters is kind of in a situation where she did the loan consolidation. They didn't give it to her. She did the everybody got credit for the COVID pause. She didn't get credit. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is your account not updated for anything? And so she's out here, in these student loan streets, trying to like pull together information, and it's so easy for her to give up. I'm literally screaming at her on the phone once a week, like, you can't give up. You cannot give up. You have to try different things. So the last thing that we did is we called her congresswoman, and now her congresswoman is checking into like what's going on with her student loan. And then literally the next day, like, it became in an ish show, Sugar Honey IT show, with Trump saying we're going to shut down the office of Department of Education, and I'm signing the order tomorrow. And I was like, oh my gosh. I just don't know what's going to happen with her, and I'm just going to put prayer on it. But please find out. Go to your portal, download everything. There's no more plans, unfortunately. I've said it every time I've said it. The plans where you can actually save some money were up, but now the plans have been taken down this week. So unfortunately, you won't be able to do that. But just download everything. Yeah, if you are not sure what options you have, as I said, call and find somebody who can either help you either at studentaid.gov, or you may still have some luck with getting answers from your student loan servicer. I'm gonna say, I know there are people who are like, I have vaccine hesitancy. Don't have vaccine hesitancy. The reason why vaccines work and we haven't had any issues is because vaccines work, and that's why we don't have issues. That's the whole point of vaccinations. And if you're like, well, I don't need to have vaccinations anymore because nobody's getting sick, yes, you do. Because here's the thing, like, people are in and out of the country all the time. People are carriers. People are able to spread disease really easily. And so you don't want to get caught where you're sick or your kids are sick and now you're down. And you know what happens when you're sick? You can't work. And there may be some places where when people are down and they're like not at work, you're not being paid. You can't afford that. And your kids can't afford to get sick, because if you work and then your kids are sick, what are you going to do? You're going to like hire somebody to take care of your kids? No, you're going to have to stay at home too. Now you're sick, or sorry, your kids are sick and you're at home and you're broke. So just take care of it. I'm gonna jump back to taking care of your kids again. Get their social security numbers and then lock them away. And make sure that they have their own social security numbers. I'm going to recommend that your children get your passports as well. Make sure that your kids get the passports as well. So when you get your passport, fill out their applications as well, and everyone gets their passport. Everyone. Your significant other, your kids, everybody. You don't want to leave people behind, because it's really hard if, say, ish goes sideways, for you to say, I'm going to go to the airport, bye, and then expect that you're not gonna have issues, because you're gonna have issues mentally. Like, I can't leave my family. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So if everyone gets their passport, then it's easier for you to make that decision together, especially as a family. And I've been reading a lot lately on the sites and the groups and everything I'm in, that there are people who are like getting ready to pack up their families and go. So be careful on that. check on your Medicare plans, check on your Medicaid plans. Like download everything for all these portals and then keep them in a safe place in more than one place. So if you download everything, you think everything's on your computer, get an account with AWS, Amazon Web Services. I know we don't like them, but they have a free service, or they have a free services they offer, which is you get 25 gigs, or is it 25? I think it's 25 or 30 gigs of free storage every year, no matter what. So it's like, okay, that's enough for you to keep all your important paperwork, copy of all your important paperwork, and use it as a backup. Okay. So yeah, download everything. As I said before, when you call these people, they always, like when you call Social Security, you call Medicare, Medicaid, or da da da, they always say the call can be recorded. And I'm like, okay. And then I hit record on my second phone, and I record as well. Because they said the call can be recorded. Okay, that's consent. I don't tell anybody. Now, if you're like, I don't know, I thought it was against the law. I'm in also a one-party state, so only one party needs consent in order to record, and that is me, in my state. So yeah, check your credit reports. I had mentioned that I was having like some alerts on my credit report. Like, why do I have these alerts? And I talked with some other people who had student loans that were forgiven or discharged or whatever, and they're like, my student loans are showing up again on my credit report, and it shouldn't be. And so their credit scores had like plummeted by like 100 points or whatever. I'm also getting a little bit of information from people. I'm sorry, I still have a headache from this interview. Ugh. Okay. That, I hope they don't screenshot that and use it as my front picture. But there were people where credit scores were going down like 100 points or whatever. They found out that their student loans were back on their credit reports. So you can always take it off and show proof that the paperwork or that the student loan is completed. Now, if you have a student loan that's in default, then, loan rehabilitation. It looks like Fresh Start is no longer being offered. So you have to do what's called loan rehabilitation, where I believe you have to, if you are in, you can negotiate and say, I want to get myself out of default. They say, okay, you have a year to do it. You need to make 9 consecutive payments in a row in order to have us pull your student loans out of default. So I had to do that once because, I was just not able to make payments on my student loans. I just didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. What am I going to do? Okay, well, yeah. So, just double check and make sure that that you're out of that your student loans aren't in default, and then if they are, it's going to have to be a loan consolidation. I would contact them soon, because as soon as all these people are dismantled from the Department of Education and no longer working with studentaid.gov, it's going to get infinitely harder to get through to somebody. Just like Social Security, they're like, oh, it's going to be 234 days before we can sit down and evaluate your case with you. So yeah, you need to then, about a year in advance before you're going to retire, you need to put in your papers, if it's possible. Contact the Social Security Administration to see if you can do that. Okay. Now let's talk about things that I think are important for around the house and just being ready to just go in a minute. Number 1, I know it's hard to get money. I'm broke. I don't have any money. What am I going to do? I'm going to start selling all this stuff. And this weekend, I'm going to start arranging everything I've got on those shelves. Let my neighbors know, hey, I'm just going to have a modified, scaled down, yard sale, but inside my house. and just start selling things. I found out and had forgotten that I had jewelry that I purchased, gold jewelry. I purchased it in in the year 2000, and I purchased some things because I was like, oh yeah, it wasn't a lot, but I was like, yeah, I was reading up on, and they were saying like, hey, if you buy things now, they will appreciate in value, and then if you ever need the money, then you can liquidate. This is the time to liquidate. So, or it may be a time to liquidate. I don't know. I have to look and see if I get that job, and even if I do get it, it could be a month or so before they say, okay, you're good, go teach, go work for us, do this class, blah blah blah. Yes, I am in education. um so so try to get money somehow, side gigs or whatever. I'm not a fan of Uber. I feel like Uber made me feel like modern day slavery. I don't know how else to put it. At the very minimum, indentured servitude. You are to be seen but not speak, and not spoken to. Yeah. And like, people would be so disrespectful and just make me feel so bad sitting in a car. I just couldn't do it. And in fact, that's the biggest reason how I managed, not able, how I managed to gain so much weight. I was driving for Uber. They pay so little. I was driving like I was driving every day, and no time off, and, up to 20, 22 hours a day. There are times when I'd be driving straight for like 2 or 3 days with very little sleep, just a nap, and then keep my Uber app on, and then like I get a ding ding ding, wake me up out of a dead sleep, and I have to go pick somebody up. And I'm very surprised that nobody got hurt. I would have tried to avoid that. And I just really, really dislike these food delivery services like Grubhub, and I don't know. I don't even know the names of them because I'm just like, ugh. But try to find some kind of side gig. Pinterest or something like that. Like eBay. Can you sell some things? Find a way to make some extra money. I just don't have anything right now for myself, but I have something that I'm gonna be doing so that in the future I can have a side income. Um, as I said, I have a full tank of gas. I never let my tank go below halfway unless I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go visit my siblings on their farm, and it's like a few hours away, and they have cheaper gas out there. So I'm gonna drive all the way out there. I'll let it go down to closer to empty, fill it up out there, and then I bring it back, and it's not so much gas wasted, since it's flat roads, and that's the only time. But otherwise, I don't want to wait. And what if something happens and they were like, you got to evacuate the city? Everybody's got to go to the gas station. Not me. My tank is almost empty, or almost full. It's almost full. So I can go and just get out of town, and I can go really, really far without having to get a new tank of gas. So, yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. Now, the price of oil is dropping, and OPEC is increasing oil production. There's like all kinds of issues with American oil. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to buy American oil, so there's going to be a glut of oil, and the price of gas is going to go down. And as the price of gas goes down, buy gas and just try to get yourself filled up. Cable jumpers, and at very minimum, just get the wired cable jumpers so you can get jumped by somebody. Have somebody come and jump your car. But I have the professional one that is like really heavy, that they use for AAA. So I don't have to worry about that. I can just like take my cable jumper with the big battery out, and I could just onto my own battery and then start my car, and I'm good. Okay. And so yeah, you want to get cable jumpers. You want to get canned food. I'm gonna say get a dog, and as I said before, please don't abuse the dog, because here's the thing: dogs are great. Some dogs are great watch dogs. Right? They'll watch out for the house, and if somebody comes at the door, some dogs are good guard dogs. Like, I've got one of each. And the guard dogs will they will protect you with their very lives. They will do that. And I said, and I was saying, please don't think that you have to treat the dog mean in order to get the dog to be mean. The dog will be mean because they're going to say, my food source is getting stabbed. And they will jump between you and that person and take out that person and rip their throat out because they don't want their food source, who they happen to love with everything in them, to get hurt. So it's better for you to treat the dog well and train the dog well to love you and to be true to you, so that if you're out there walking and somebody comes and tries something, then you could just be like, okay, and your dog will take it from there. Okay? It's just not going to happen that this dog, my dog Buddy, is not going to happen that Buddy is going to let something happen to me. Because Buddy knows he gets 3 squares a day. He gets 3 walks a day. He gets loving at night. He sleeps on my bed. He wakes up against me. A couple of days ago, I woke up, he was spooning me. I was like, okay, this dog. He had like one paw on my neck. And I was just like, okay, it's too much. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So, like, go to do not go and go to some like place where you have to shop for a dog, or you go to like those kennels where they breed the breeders. Please don't do that. There's plenty of dogs, many dogs. I will put one hand to God. There are so many dogs and shelters right now that you can get. Some of them that have been in there for like a year or so, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. They're like, we're going to pay for the adoption. Some people are like, we'll pay for the adoption and we're going to give you like 6 months of dog food. You can get a dog. If you do, then you're either going to put money aside. I said $100 a month. But if you get a puppy, start with $50 a month. $50 a month aside for in case of emergency for your dog. Because you should be able to take care of your dog. They have medical needs just like you. Not $50 a month that you then take out every time you have to take them to the vet. No, that's for the emergencies, when they come up and they have sarcoma, or they end up getting stabbed in the eye, or somebody comes and runs over your dog and they're still alive and there's hope. You want to be able to take care of your dog. So if you get a puppy, first 5 years, $50 a month. After they're 5 years old, I'm saying for smaller dogs, take it up to $75. And then once they turn like 10 years old, take it up to $100. If you get a dog that's like a bigger dog, because they don't live as long, they live like maybe 12 years. Although I've heard some go into 15. But so, you're going to have to kind of like adjust accordingly. But just be ready to have that money set aside for the dog. I said there's something I can't read. I can't read it. I can read it. Get cameras. That's what I say. Get cameras. I have cameras on the front of my car, the back of my car. I have cameras on my windows. Somebody came up to my house and they papered my house with all kinds of like insane stuff because they didn't like my Halloween decorations, and they were saying I was like worshiping the devil, promoting Satanism, and I was like, rhymes with witch. I know who you are. And I didn't have my camera up at the time, but the day after, put the cameras up, and I put it all out there to the neighborhood, and I was like, if you come to my house again, and you come to my doorstep again, I'm not even going to hesitate. Ish is going down, and you won't even know what's happened. So get cameras. And not only that, for the cars, because you don't know what's going to happen in your car. You don't know if something's going to happen with the police in the car. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I recommend. Get the camera for the dashboard. You're going to put it on. Even if I go down the street and come back, I put that. Do that. Get a camera for your rear, the rear of your car, either facing the traffic that's coming behind you or facing inside of your car. So if you got stopped, you know how the police are, turn off your camera. No. Why? You can't record me. Turn off your camera. Okay. Boop. But I still have my rear view camera going in the car. They're not going to see it. It's like this big. So get cameras. And record everything. You can record to the cloud. As I said, build a phone tree for like check-ins. have a way so that if something happens to you, then you're able to check in with everybody and make sure. And as I said, get healthy. As I said, as soon as I can, I'm going to join a gym. I just don't have a job right now. But as soon as I'm able to secure a job, the next thing I'm going to do is go down to that gym that I found. And I'm going to go ahead and join. Because you want to get healthy. Because you want to be able to even have to make a run for it. You have to make a run for it. And you want to be healthy for that. My other reason why I want to be healthy is because before all of this and before I got into driving for Uber, I was in the fitness industry, believe it or not. Yes, I was. And I was working a long time in the fitness industry, fitness and wellness and fitness industry a lot. I was teaching up to, the most I've taught is 30 spin classes in a week, something like that. Doing a lot. Then I moved into like yoga Pilates, so it's like my body's getting a little tired. But I was still doing like dancing and dance class, not Zumba, but real dance classes, hip hop and whatever. I was doing kickboxing, boot camp, Pilates and yoga, but it was just a lot less strenuous than spinning. Eventually it was just like, yeah, I'm just going to focus on Pilates and yoga. So my goal is to get my weight back down and get back into yoga and Pilates and be able to start teaching that. And that would be my side gig, because I've gone out and like worked for people where I go to their homes and they're paying me like $50, $60, $75, $100 a session for anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour to come out and do it. So, I mean, like, what happens if you can get, 3 or 4 clients a week and you're making like $100 per day, and you have $400 in cash because they're paying you in cash. $400 a week and you're making $1,600 a month. That's extra. That's good side income. I need to get my weight down so I can get back. As I said, you go to Google and you want to Google this. Google has something called Results About You. And if you go to a Results About You, and I tried it and it worked, you can go in there and so Google it. But it'll ask you for your information. It's going to ask for your address, your phone number, your name, your middle name, etc. However much you're willing to give them. But they will go through and they were going to crawl through Google and they will pull your information. And here's the fun thing. Once you put that you want them to check, they're going to periodically check. And if they see anything coming up, they're going to remove it. Now, it's not going to remove things like if you had a divorce decree and it was like listed. If you made the paper for some reason and your name's in the paper, they're not going to remove that. But it's stuff like all of those invasive things where you go in, you type in your name, and then it says, oh yeah, this person lives in this city, this state, and this is their phone number. I'm like, no, that's too much. So go in there and do it. I did it. It continues to update me, ask me if I want to have that information removed. I say yes, they remove it. But some of them are like, they bring up, like, not Google, but these people find out and they put you back on, and then Google takes it off. I'm like, okay, we can tango. And I was saying, pay down debt aggressively. Pay down your debt aggressively. What would happen if the banks closed? I mean, I don't know. This is pretty extreme, but I just don't know what's going to happen. Like, I just keep hearing all kinds of issues with banks and things happening, and I just Orange Savior can do anything he wants, and if he wants to close down banks tomorrow, he can close down banks tomorrow, and then banks are closed. How are you going to get at your money? So pay down your debt as aggressively as you can and try to just accumulate a little bit of cash that you can put off to the side that will last you, I would say, minimum a month if you can. I mean, my goal is to build up like a 6-month reserve. And then once I get to 6 months, then the goal is to get up to 1 year, then to 2 years. And if I can get up to 2 years of reserve, then I'm sitting pretty. You need to have things like water, batteries, canned food, cleaning supplies, toilet paper. You need to act like it's back end COVID, because I think things are about to go back to COVID. COVID era, as in like in terms of like empty shelves, you can't find things. Like, the world isn't going to trade with us right now, and so we don't have the infrastructure for everything that we're about to lose. So we're going to have some issues. So be ready for that. Also, they passed something, or was it SCOTUS? SCOTUS said, yeah, you can have raw sewage in your drinking water. I don't know what's going on, but watch out if you live in like Michigan, in that town where it's um, Flint, Michigan. What they're basically saying is like, read between the lines, Flint, which is kind of nuts. Everybody deserves clean water. What they should have done is, after the Supreme Court ruled that it's okay, and not everybody on the Supreme Court did, but the ones who ruled that it's okay to have raw sewage in drinking water, I would go and crap in a bottle of water and give it to them and say, here you go. Since raw sewage is cool, I just crapped in your water. Okay. No, seriously though, get water, lots of it. Get supplies, lots of it, because here's what can happen. I'm just speculating, but especially if you live in the northeast, sorry, and or it could be the northwest. I don't know. But Canada controls a lot of the like the energy for these people. What if they turn off the energy and then like that creates a trigger effect that no electricity for the water to run or whatever? Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea to be without things like water and like canned foods, so that if you have to go to canned foods, if the shelves are empty or whatever, you're able to get to like at least have the basics, have some canned foods and things that will last for a good long time. I would say for the next 4 years, with a shelf life expiration date of 4 years at least. Um, uh, as I said, get batteries. And I mentioned it before, but I'm emphasizing this because I'm like, you can go to Dollar Tree or Dollar General or something. You can get like, you know how they have the batches of that for like a few dollars? Just get bunches and bunches of them. Are they going to go kind of quick? Sure, yeah. But I don't think they're going to be any different than getting them from Amazon. But yeah, I also have a phone battery. And I think it's good if you can try to get a phone battery that you can just keep ready to go. Same thing for my Ring camera. I have a backup battery for that, and it's always charging. So when I need to switch them out, I can switch them out. But change it. Um, so keep your batteries always charged in the event something happens. Um, I also found out, as you can recall, I said I had like all these extra charges I was paying on Amazon, and it was adding up to like $577.40 per year I was paying to Amazon, just in fees for things like Kindle and like my Prime membership, and I had like all these different memberships that subscribes and saves and whatever, and I was just like, yeah, cancel. I'm never gonna do Amazon anymore. I'm done with Amazon. So I found out that my Azurian, I had a contract with Azurian Insurance through Amazon, and I was paying $16.99 a month. And stupidly, sometimes I had forgotten I had it, and then I was getting Azurian Insurance for like little things, like, yeah, I'll pay, like $16 for this $32 set of headsets, Bluetooth headsets. And so I was just like, wait a minute. So I was getting ready to close it. And I said, no, wait a minute. Before I close this out, what do I have that I'm not using anymore that I can just return to them and just say it's broke? So I went through the house and I pulled everything. I've already returned my Scepter. I had like a huge, like I think 27-inch monitor returned. So it was like $130 something. Now they're always like, get a box and put it in a box. I'm like, you really? Okay. Well, I got my new box for my new monitor. That's the same size. I just shoved it in there and just put some bubble wrap around it and send it off. And got a little they asked, would you like to have Amazon credit for it? No, I want cash. I pay cash. I want cash. And so they did that. I then went around and found like all these little things like keyboards. I have a Blink camera. I've got a few things. I figure I got about another $150 worth of things that I can return through Azurion. So I'm like, I'm ahead, because that $260 $3.88 a year. I'm gonna try to claw back as much of that as I can. So I'm gonna do that over the weekend, and then I'm gonna make all the claims, bring everything in, and then cancel that insurance before the 15th when I think it's up. So if you've got like fees like that, and it's not just Amazon, if you have fees like that going for other things that you're not using, cancel it. And then if there's a way for you to return stuff, return it. I got something on Home Depot too, because I have an insurance for that thing. I'm gonna return that too, and I'm gonna get the insurance on that, and I'm gonna get the $100 back for that. So I'm gonna just start returning things around the house as quick as I can. I'm going to recommend that you learn generative AI. Do you have to learn all the technical stuff? No. I would do a Google search to find out what's the generative AI that's hot out there. I know it's hard because I'm starting to learn it, but everybody's getting into Gen AI. It's clear that a lot of these companies are going to start using generative AI to start like taking over the tasks that you would do. So if you want to stay relevant, then you want to be able to be in control of the AI agents that are going to be taking those jobs away. Do you see what I'm saying? That keeps you at the top of the food chain. I also remember watching a show where they were saying, you know what, if you were going to make money in the stock market, the time to have done it would have been in the 80s and 90s when stuff was like worth dirt cheap. But now stocks are so out of control high that it's like you can't afford it. So the only way that you're going to be able to like get out of anything out of stock market is with these like AI kind of applications that these traders and people are using, the financial analysts are using when they're doing like stock trades and whatever. And they can use AI to like make some kind of predictions about stocks and buy and sell stocks real quick. So Gen AI is going to have to be a way to go. And so I can't tell you what's popular. I don't know what's in your field, but I would start looking into it. And just seeing what it is that you can do with Gen AI products. And it's something once you like get proficient at 2 or 3 things, put in your resume. Put your resume back into ZipRecruiter and Indeed and on LinkedIn, and then update your LinkedIn and say you work with AI agents or you work with generative AI. I bet you're going to get something. I'm getting ready to update my resume as well and put it back out there. I'm almost done. Okay. I feel pretty much done. Yep. I did everything on my list. Yes, I did everything on my list. Look, I did everything on the list. I'm going to still recommend, just like what I said in my last video, please check into some of these YouTube channels. The Defiant Lawyers. There's 2 lawyers. I think one is always behind the scenes. The other one is always talking. But he's telling you what's happening. What's happening and how it affects us. How does it affect us? So I highly recommend him. Tabitha Speaks Politics. She also talks about all the things that's going on. She's the one that made me aware about the 10 Democratic spineless jellyfish that crossed over with the Republicans to censure Congressman Al Green for standing up and saying truth, as this man is standing up there lying in his State of the Union. I said, no. So she gave phone numbers, and she was like, call them. So I passed those phone numbers out to people, and I was like, you call people. Okay. As I said, avoid legacy media. They're dead. MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC, I would avoid them. Any newspaper that looks like they're capitulating. I used to read USA Today. Now their opinion is garbage. Their opinion piece is garbage. And I believe the Washington Post, they said, oh yeah, we're going to take our opinion pieces a different way. In other words, conservative leaning. Okay, garbage. I'm no longer going to deal with them. So I would just go and just looking for there's another woman. It's called What a Day, and she's on YouTube. The YouTube channel is called What a day. What a day. Um, she's awesome. She gives all Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. She releases, and she's very calm. She's like, this is the news. This is what's going on in politics. Okay. And I just like, you know what? I really like her. So I highly suggest her. BBC News, because as I said before, BBC News tells truth. They tell you truth about what's going on in the United States. They know before we know. And I'm like, wait, what? Okay. I didn't know that was happening. BBC News. Um, Now, WHUR, which is Howard University radio station, they also have a PBS station as well. So I recommend that you also go with them as well. Okay. Even though I cut my hair, it's like still in my face, and I'm sorry about that. Ugh, no, it's in my eyeglasses. Okay. There we go. I have an opening. NPR, I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, Orange Savior hates NPR, probably because they're accurate with their reporting. But I like them, and I think they're great, and I will continue to listen to them. So that's pretty much all I got. Survival guide. All right, I'm gonna just end this now, because it's the end of the day. I'm ready to make my taco wraps. I'm gonna walk these dogs. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna make some taco wraps, and then I'm gonna just kind of curl up with maybe some reading and nights off. And tomorrow I'm back into the game with getting back with studying, because I am going to get into generative AI, whether it kills me or not. So please take care of yourselves first, then take care of the people around you second, and take care of your mind. Take care of yourself, then take care of everyone else in your boat. Okay? Do not go out there and help these people that got us into and themselves into this problem. They need to figure it out, and they need to dig themselves out. We're done. All right. So on that note, I don't know if I'm going to do anything else this evening, or this weekend rather. If not, have a great weekend. I hope everybody is safe and happy. All right. This is again Koffee Spills the Tea. That's my channel. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, get all that notifications, share it with your friends, and I will see you at some point. Bye, everybody.